Hey, how's it going? My name is Matt. I'm a full-time reseller. I do clothing, men's clothing on eBay and Poshmark. And this is going to be a haul video. This is a haul that I got today from a guy off of Craigslist. Did a cash deal for a whole bunch of denim only. He had other stuff that he brought out, but I ended up just picking up the denim. I responded to an ad that just showed, I think, 2 pairs of Levi jeans, and one of them was a 560. And if you watch my last video, I will have revealed unto you the, I guess, not so closely guarded secret that Levi's 560s are the best-selling Levi's men's jeans outside of super rare vintage 1940s, 50s, 60s Levi's. So I emailed him back and asked him if he had any more 560s, and he said he had 3 pairs. So I went over there, took a look, and got to talking to him. And he had a whole bunch of stuff. So without that much further ado, I'll show you what I got. Paid a total of $55 cash for 6 items, which is pretty good. That's actually cheaper than most of the thrift stores in San Diego where I live. So this is a pair of slightly faded black Levi's 560s. The black should confer a little bit more value to it or make it sell a little bit quicker. It has a little bit of marbling in terms of the fading. It's not quite whiskering. So there's a term that applies to jeans called whiskering, and that's where there are radiating lines across the legs. That is whiskering, but this is just kind of marbled. It's almost a stonewash, but not quite. So one of the reasons why Levi's 560s are so popular, I'm speculating at least, is that baggier cuts of jeans are becoming more and more in vogue, both with men and women. So the days of the skinny jeans are already behind us for the most part. The vanguard of the fashion forward are already going really wide legs. So if you find something that's a little more vintage, as a known brand, has a wide leg, consider picking it up, because those are going to become more and more popular as that knowledge trickles into the collective consciousness from Los Angeles. This is a pair of Wranglers. Actually, here's the brand, Wrangler, a brand I typically avoid except for a couple of provisos. Their plaid pearl snap shirts, their Western shirts can sell fairly well if they're vintage or if they're in a big size. I say that with some caution because I've wound up sitting on a lot of Wrangler shirts for a very long time. So you do have to be picky. And denim jackets, Wrangler denim jackets, sell quite well. And I am guessing that these will sell pretty well. There's a tag in there. I think these are vintage. Let me show you the evidence. Oh, it was the tag that I was just showing you. There's one little piece of information on this tag that made me leap into action and buy it. Made in USA. So instead of just saying, I'm guessing this is going to be worth money, we'll see, etc., at the end of this haul show and tell, I'm actually going to hop over to the computer and do some live research and show you whether or not the stuff, there's a couple items like this in here that I kind of rolled the dice on. So I'll show you how I research items, and that's knowledge that will directly apply to you being able to source quick flipping clothing items and profitable clothing items on your own. Here's another pair of 560s. I think this is the one that I actually emailed him about. And it's just a basic light wash, blue denim, wide leg jean. As I said in my Essential Brands video, Levi's 560s are about 3x sell-through, meaning there are typically 3 times more sold listings on eBay than there are active, which means that it's basically just shooting fish in a barrel. The demand is so high that you can get away with pricing it up a little bit more without running the risk of the things sitting in your inventory forever and ever, like some of this stuff has. So Levi's 560s, I flipped one almost immediately for 50 bucks. I have a second pair up right now that's listed at I think 45 and it hasn't flipped yet, but all of these 560s I'm probably going to price around 50. Here is a pair of not 560s. These are 550s, which is a pretty common cut. There is demand. If I'm remembering correctly, the demand is about 50% sell through. But as with any category of Levi's jeans, the volume of sold does kind of compensate for that sell through rate. For example, Levi's 501s, I think are no 505s. Is it 50? I think it's 505s that are the really, really common ones, the ones that are sold at Costco, I think, for the big box stores. The standard Levi's cut of jeans. It's, I think, sub 50%. I checked this one time. It was a while ago. So this is old information, but I think the sell-through was like 50%, less than 50%, but it was like tens of thousands of pairs had sold. Anyway, 550s. Not a total slam dunk, but look at the tag again. Made in USA. Made in USA typically means that it's going to be a higher end garment or that it's older. This doesn't look terribly vintage, but it probably is just based on that tag. So as I said, we will look it up together. This was also in my last video about good brands to buy. The 501XXs. This is a button fly. My friend Dave educated me that the XX indicates that it's shrink to fit. And I don't know what that is. But that's what it is. Another light wash pair of jeans. I bought these despite there being a hole in the crotch. But as with any denim, it's one of the few garments that doesn't lose a ton of value if it has holes in it. In fact, some of it, if it's destroyed as opposed to distressed, can actually be worth more, can be more desirable. Distressed means it has, well, what does distressed mean specifically? It means it has like, you know, you see those jeans with runs in them or scuffs. That's distressing. Destroying is big gaping holes. So these are destroyed. And the last item I was really excited about, this was sitting on the top of the pile of clothing that he brought out. Because we got to talking and I told him that I was a clothing reseller. And this happened. That is a vintage Polo Ralph Lauren tag. A size 2XL, which is a desirable size. 100% cotton. Denim jacket. Zip front denim jacket with a flip collar. This is the find of the day by far. There's that red embroidered pony. So most Polo Ralph Lauren stuff isn't worth touching. I would go so far as to say most vintage Polo Ralph Lauren stuff you should tread lightly, because if it's just a normal shirt, it's one of those things that people are all on the lookout for. So the supply way, way outpaces the demand typically. But something like that, vintage denim that's conspicuously Ralph Lauren, it has the embroidered pony on it. It's something unique, it's something old, it's something on trend. It has kind of a baggy fit. I could see women actually buying this. And it's not something that's super common. I will probably get at least 50 for that. Possibly, I don't know. I typically don't shoot for the stars on clothing that much these days, but I could reasonably list that at 100 and somebody might buy it. But I'm probably going to list it between 50 and 75, I would guess. So 55 in total for that. I will definitely recoup that. That's a smart investment. That's, that's safe investment. I just realized the pull tab for the zipper on this jacket is leather. And it has this very 90s, 80s, 90s elastic hem. So this guy was really interesting. He was an older guy, heavier guy, and he told me that he lost a dramatic amount of weight. And I asked him how, and he said he went on a 40-day fast. He's gone on this extreme fasting regimen, and he asked to keep my number to get in touch with me when he needs to sell off more clothing because he's still on this fasting routine. And my fingers are crossed for him. I feel a little bit weird about it because common sense says maybe he'll need the clothes back if he's doing something this extreme, but I hope it works out for him. I guess there's a teachable moment in there that I wasn't shy at all about telling him that I was buying his stuff in order to resell it at a profit. If I hadn't mentioned that, I don't think he would have brought this other stuff out. So let's hop on eBay and check my work. I know that the 560s are going to be worth money. I don't need to look those up. But the rest of the stuff, I'm going to double check and see how I did. All right, we're starting with the denim jacket that I got. It was a vintage Ralph Lauren denim jacket, men XXL. There are obviously more keywords that apply to that jacket than just those, but that'll give us kind of a general overview. I'm seeing some that are roughly comparable, like this one, sold for a best offer. These are selling between 50 and 100, as I said. Let's check. Oh, look at this. That is the exact comp. This very rarely happens with clothing. You don't see the exact garment that you're searching for that often, but there it is. And it sold for full price, right? Best offer. I'm guessing that sold for around 100. That probably sold for between 80 and 100. Damn. Harrington bomber jacket. Sweet. Okay, let's check the actives. I'm guessing lower sell-through on this. Look at that. I was wrong. 100% sell-through. Obviously, these are not totally precise numbers. Not only are we not accounting for all possible keywords, but for some reason, the desktop search on eBay yields slightly different numbers than when you search on the app. I don't know why. But that's a pretty good temperature that I just took. And look at the prices. These are around like 100. Typically when I sell clothing, I'm going for the quick flip. So I'll search by buy it now and do lowest first and then price it around the bottom of the market, unless it's something really special like this. So if I were to do that, if I were to go for a quick flip on this jacket, quick flip price would be 50 bucks. So I actually underestimated how much this is worth. I'll probably actually end up listing this at 100. Cool. Let's check these 501XXs. It's a 38. So if I were to price this at the bottom of the market, it would be 25 at a steal, more reasonably 30, maybe 40 with free shipping, which I typically do. I would probably price this 35 free ship, although it has the flaw with it, so probably we'll price it at 30. 72 solds. What was the actives? 104 to 72. Still strong, not 100% on this size. Where am I now? All right, so it's 91 solds. I don't know if I clicked the wrong button there or what. Go to ended recently. 40, 35, 30. So if you were to run into this pair of jeans out in the wild, if you were thrifting, if you weren't familiar with Levi's 501XXs, this is the protocol that I recommend to look it up. Levi's 501XXs or size, and or Levi's 501XXs plus size, actives, solds, look at the pricing. Don't just look at the sold price, which is a mistake that I think that people make, is they go in, they look something up, and they are just looking to gauge what the median sold price of something is, and they don't pay attention to what the bottom of the market is actually doing. And that's one of the reasons why people end up not being able to move a lot of clothing inventory and they get frustrated, is because, let's say I found, like I said, like a vintage Polo Ralph Lauren button-down shirt, and I went into Solds, and there were a bunch of really unique, bizarre flannels and whatnot that sold for 30 bucks. So I kept seeing 30, 30, 30 because that's the novel stuff that people are looking at. And I didn't go into the actives and look for lowest to highest, buy it now. Lowest to highest, buy it now is going to be, from experience, typically like a solid chunk of 10 to 15 bucks. Maybe like a full page of listings priced at around 10 to 15 bucks shipped. So you price it at 30, it's not 30 worthy, it's not like a vintage flannel or whatever, it's just some basic shirt, and you end up sitting on it for a very long time because you didn't really look before you leapt. Let's do the 550s. I'm going to guess that this is going to be pretty good. 1,000 actives. Prices are looking decent. Let me show you again what I just recommended you do, which is not click through to that listing. Buy it now. Lowest first. So if I was going to go for the quickest possible flip on this, I would price it at 25, which is a good deal. Most Levi's, if you ran this experiment, you would have to price them at around 12 bucks. The more common Levi's. So about 1,000 actives. $520, so 50% sell through, but the price is right. Yeah, that's another win. I like it. And last, let's do these vintage Wranglers, or presumed vintage Wranglers. Made USA. And obviously you can get more specific with your keywords when you're searching than just these big general categories, which is sometimes worth doing. So 500 solds versus another roughly 50%, very roughly 50% sell through. Numbers are not as promising here. Let's get more specific. Search the actual size. 38 by 36, 38, 36, 25. This might be the weak link. Yeah, pretty bad sell through there. All right, so I'll probably price those at 25 and just make a couple bucks on it. Still, the other stuff is so valuable that I'm not bothered by that. So there you go. That's how you would look the stuff up, how I look the stuff up at least, and it goes more quickly when you're doing it on the phone and you're not explaining it to an audience. But I think I did pretty good today. I don't want to speculate about how much money I made. I think pretty safely that I doubled my money at least. Probably made more, I would guess. I don't know, probably, I don't know. I don't want to throw out a number, but I did make profit. I did good business, and I searched on Craigslist. So hopefully I can go back to thrifting soon. And hopefully this gives you some ideas of how and what and where to source. Thanks for watching.